All right, good afternoon, everyone. We'll go ahead and get started. I know there's still folks coming in. I know some folks have had some issues with links going to spam and things like that, so I've been trying to help them this afternoon with that. So I apologize about some of those challenges. Um, so I just want to start off by, again, thanking everybody for coming and just talk about a few housekeeping things before we get started. Throughout today's presentation, we will monitor the chat. So if you do have questions, please type them into the chat. We will have time at the end for a little Q&A. So just keep that in mind. But we also are recording today's meeting, so those folks that may be having issues, we will be able to post it, and they will still be able to get the necessary information, as well as because we are recording. We will keep everybody's mics muted until the end. Certainly, if you do want to ask your question during the Q&A section at the end, just raise your hand when we get to that point. So, again, thank you for everybody for coming, and we'll turn it over to our President and Chief Executive Officer, Karen Belcher, to share some information with you.
Can you hear me, Brian?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so why is my camera not working? I feel like I'm just having major technical difficulties here. So, all right, you don't get to see me, but hopefully you can all hear me. So sorry about that. Um, also want to welcome you all here today. Thankful that you took time out of your afternoon to be with us. I think these opportunities to be together like this really provide us some time to share some information with you, but also hear from you on what your needs are or what you're hearing or seeing and how we might be able to support you. So, we want this to be valuable time for you, but also want to make sure that we're sharing pertinent information on a pretty regular basis. So thank you for being with us today. I think we're all coming off of the holidays, a pretty strong winter that has probably been more snow than we've had in many years. It has impacted some of our work through the months, but spring is en route. I think we've had our fake spring just finishing up for us to get another little winter blast here tomorrow. But just want to thank you for what you're doing every day, for the communities that you live in and work in, for your neighbors that are in need. You really are that lifeline for them right now, more so than ever when you think of all the things that we're all facing. So thank you from all of us here at the food bank. We can't do this without you. And I know we say that a lot, but I hope I hope you know how much that really how much it means to us that we have you in these communities. And want you to know that we're here. So please let us know how we can support you as we go forward. I think before I turn it over to Brian McManus to give you a procurement update, I wanted to just give you a little information around calendar year 2025 and the impact that we have had together in this work. So during the calendar year, we distributed 22.2 million pounds of food with all of you into the community, and that was 18.5 million meals that went to our neighbors that needed us during the last year. So thank you. I mean, that's a large number. It's one of our largest as far as food distribution and meals to our neighbors. So, that's because of all of you and the work that you're doing every day. So thank you. We have 567 distribution partners. If you didn't know that, that's a little fun trivia fact, maybe someday for a conference. So put that little nugget away. And 6.2 millions of the pounds were rescued produce that went out. So that 22.2 million pounds, 6.2 was rescued produce from 148 retail partners across our 11 counties. And then lastly, the nice little stat that also could be a trivia or a Jeopardy question is we have 15 vehicles in our fleet currently, 2 pack trailers. In total, they traveled 322,892 miles this past calendar year to make sure that we're getting food to you when you need it. So I think that's all I have right now, Brian. Just really thankful to be with everyone and ready to hear the conversation that the team has for everyone today, because it's a lot of good information coming. Sorry, my camera isn't working.
Great. Now we'll turn it over to our Chief Operating Officer, Brian McManus.
Thanks, Karen and Brian. Hello, everyone. I want to echo what Karen was saying. We appreciate everyone being here. We appreciate the partnership from you all. And again, I'm sure winter's not fully over, but I do also want to take the opportunity to thank you all for your diligence during that. We always ask that if you're receiving a delivery, you keep your property clear so that our team can be safe when they arrive, and people appear to really be hearing that. There was a tremendous amount of snow to clear and work to do to get ready, and our guys are very grateful. They asked me to pass this message along to everyone that took care of that in advance of any snowy delivery day. And I know we had to pivot. We had to make some changes from time to time, and everyone was always very amenable to that. So we're very grateful to you. I do have a inventory control request that I need to pass on to everyone. When you're receiving a delivery of food, when you verify the order you received against the invoice that came with it, those numbers should be exact matches. And if there's any discrepancy at all, we do ask that you please let someone know. It really helps us with our inventory control to have that verification piece. Unfortunately, errors can happen, and we certainly never want to short your agency. If you're expecting something and it's on that sheet, it should be there. So if you encounter that, we hope you don't, but please always remember to let us know so we can remedy that for you. So also I want to give an update on food supply, and the message right now is actually a very positive one. On our end here in our facility and with all of the supply lines that we generally work with, we are in a very strong position. We have a pretty robust inventory here in our facility with no anticipated problems resupplying. Hopefully you're seeing that on the menu as well. And the teams here, the procurement team and the grants team, have done a lot of work to line that up. And the result is that we're really ready to support agencies with food. And a big piece of that is New York State. The ongoing Nourish New York program, the HIPNAP program and grants have been tremendous. And then also we were fortunate to receive some emergency funding during the government shutdown and the disruption to SNAP. And that is still providing some resources into the food supply. So you will see a lot of items listed as free or no cost. And that's likely the source of that is going to be some New York funding. Not that it's ultimately that relevant to you. What matters is that there's no cost to it, but there's quite a few items available, and there will continue to be. The Nourish New York, as you know, funds products grown in New York State. So those are going to be very recognizable, pretty steady supply of things: milk, yogurt, eggs, produce items, but then over the years, some additional items, some finished meal things like ravioli, and even some canned goods, frozen fruits and vegetables have now come into that inventory, and we will continue to stock those. So those are things that that you're able to access and give out to the neighbors with no impact on any of your own funding that you have in place. So that's really an opportunity to boost distribution and get as much as possible into the hands of these neighbors. And on the USDA side, initially the year started a little light. The schedule was light, which we did anticipate, but we are now seeing coming through more bonus offers just in the past few weeks, they've started to offer additional truckloads, and we are, of course, accepting those. And so you'll start to see an increase in the available USDA TFAP items, probably as we get closer to summer. I believe right now we're a dozen to 15 available items. So we shouldn't really dip too far below that level, and a lot of variety too. No one thing over and over. So that's good balance for everyone. Donated food side, this past year, we surpassed a goal that we had in mind, and donated food acquisition into our network is now risen to over 6 million pounds. And that's the result of a lot of partnerships, a lot of partnership development, and taking advantage really of every opportunity that's out there. And we'll continue to do that, and hopefully even expand on that. So that's some of the ways that we're trying to make sure that the inventory that you see is varied, and that it's cost effective for you to be able to serve neighbors, because we know that the demand can be quite high, and we understand some of the external factors that none of us control, that really lead people to depend on you. And really the message I definitely want to get across is that the food supply is there and will be there for the foreseeable future for you to meet that need. One other thing I want to touch on, we recently made a change to the available, the window of time in which agencies could order for delivery. It was shortened, and one of the benefits of that is that fresh produce is available to order, but it has time limits on it. We won't ship it past a certain date. And if you have the ability to place an order for delivery 8, 9, 10 days out, the produce that you're seeing on that day most likely has an end date where we won't ship it. And so you're not able to access that. So now with the tighter window, one of the benefits we're hoping for is that as you log on and start to enter your order, the items you're seeing are in fact available on the date you're choosing for delivery. And what you also should know is most of the produce that you're going to see is purchased or acquired at grade. And that's going to be the same as a retail supply chain. And that freshness control, that timing control, is so that when you are giving it out to your neighbors, it's something that's desirable and something that they want. We have internal plans to grow our produce acquisition and grow that availability. So I do encourage you, if you're not taking advantage of that for your program, please do so. Give it a try. Again, these things often don't hit any grant whatsoever, so they can be extra items that we know are popular and desirable. A couple of other details. Last year, as we navigated for the first time some new rules and regulations around the changing fiscal year, we had to do some inventory adjustments that led to a decrease in available food as we kind of rounded down towards June. And then what we hoped was a very rapid ramp up in July. We will have some systems and plans in place this year that mitigate that, so that we shouldn't be seeing any kind of dramatic reduction and then increase. We should be able to maintain a steady inventory as we go through that window this year. So that's a positive development that I want to pass along. And as always, your agency relations team, as you encounter them at your site or in your county meetings, or if you're just reaching out to them, they're going to be the ones that have kind of more detail, that can really explain things in better detail and how they apply to you, especially as we move closer to that date. But at least I wanted to put in your head that that's hopefully not something that you'll encounter this year. So big takeaway from today is we have the food supply. We are hopefully mostly on the other side of winter, so we should be able to get to you on the day that we all plan on it. And we're ready to get that food supply to you and to your neighbors. So please be thinking of anything you need, anything that you want. Share it with your agency relations representative. And like Karen mentioned, we're really here to support you, to support your organizations. And we want to do the best we can. So if you're sharing your needs with us, our expectation is that we're going to do everything in our power to meet them. And I guess in closing, I just want to say thank you again, everyone. We really, truly appreciate you all. We appreciate your partnership. And let us know if there's anything at all you need.
Thank you, Brian. We did have one question around inventory that I thought was pertinent for this section. And the question was, can you speak to the potential availability of number 10 cans for meal sites?
Yes, so we should always be carrying an inventory of number 10 cans. It's a smaller portion of our inventory, but there is always a meal site specific, meal site appropriate section of that. If there are things that you're not seeing in that line that you want, please do pass that along, because while overall meal sites, people that generally use number 10 cans make up a smaller portion of the overall scope of partner agencies, the amount of meals they do, the impact is significant. So we certainly want to make sure we're supplying that line.
Great, thank you. So just a quick, I just want to provide some additional information on some of some product usage and some guidance to piggyback off what Brian was saying. You may have seen, if you've been on Agency Express, which is our ordering system, in the last couple of weeks, you may have seen a slight change to that ordering system, with the items that are free are actually tagged with free. And at the top left, there is a drop down where you can sort and just sort by just free items. So anything that is free will be tagged with that free item tag. I know there's been some confusion around some of those wholesale free items that have a cost attached to them, but they say free in the description. We have tagged all of those free. So all of your TFAP commodities will be tagged with free. All of the free donated products, as well as any wholesale free items, will be tagged with that free item. And as a reminder, if it says free in the description under those wholesale products and it says free item, they are actually free to your program. They are just billed to different grants that the food bank has on the back end. So when you receive your final invoice with delivery, there will not be a cost to those items. So keep that in mind. There is a large quantity of free items currently on the menu. So if you've already exhausted your grant funding that you received, this is a great way to obviously continue to serve your neighbors. It's also a great way, if you have limited grant funding available, to stretch your budgets and things like that, is taking advantage of those free products. We also want to encourage agencies, if you have room to order and store some of that stuff, please do that. Also encouraging you to, if you can, because those items are free and we need to move through that inventory, please offer these items as extras to your neighbors when they come in. You can supplement their food package with some of that free, Nourish New York and State of Emergency product would be a great way to do that, and also help us move through that inventory and that funding that we, especially that Nourish product that we need to move out by the end of our fiscal year. Please, if you can, provide some of that stuff as extras, or if you have the freezer or refrigerator, the freezer space, please bring that in and store that, because just like your HIPNAP funding that you need to spend by the end of May, we need to spend that funding as well. So please, we do encourage you to provide extra if you're able to do so. Just as a reminder, if you still have your initial HIPNAP food grant, if you still have funding available, that does need to be spent by the end of May. If you need a balance update, please reach out to the agency relations team. We can give you an update on where you currently stand, how much funding you have remaining for that grant. And again, just as a clarification piece, if you're looking to spend that grant, anything that says free in the description will not apply to your individual grants. So make sure you are focusing on those wholesale asterisk items that aren't tagged with the free item, because those will actually be applied to your grants. And again, they need to have the wholesale with that asterisk sign. If it has a dash, those are items that are not grant eligible. So just keep that in mind. The last thing with as far as product usage go that I just want to clarify, we've gotten some questions is, product sharing between agencies and partners and other organizations is not allowed. So the items that you order from the food bank need to be used and distributed from your site to the neighbors that are coming to your site. You can't share that product between agencies. You can't share it with other organizations. If you're a food pantry, you can't. If you have food pantry and soup kitchen, you can't trade items between those two programs, even though they're at the same site. So just make sure if you're ordering it for your food pantry, you're ordering it for your meal site, it needs to be used for that purpose. Because I know we've gotten some questions. There's been some confusion around some of that. So, and if you need more clarification, please reach out to our team. We're here to support you on any questions like that you may have. So next, I want to turn it over to Becky Lair, our Vice President of Government Relations, and Amalia Swan, our Chief Outreach Officer, to talk about some of the SNAP ABOD changes that went into effect on March 1st.
Good afternoon, everybody. So I'm going to start with a little bit of a refresher. There's obviously been a lot that has happened on the government front, particularly the federal level, over the last year. And one of those big pieces that we're starting to see the implementation come about with is HR 1, which was the budget reconciliation bill on the federal level that was signed into law in July of last year. There were quite a few changes to SNAP that were included in that final legislation. And as a reminder, those are being implemented over the course of several months to several years. So one of the first components that's going into effect in New York State, that change went into place beginning March 1st. And as Brian mentioned, that's in regards to work reporting requirements for what was previously called ABODs, or able-bodied adults without dependents. We're using different terminology for a whole host of reasons. The first being ABODs is kind of terrible, but also it's no longer accurate based on the changes that have gone into place. So specifically, it increased the population who is subject to those work reporting requirements. So it now includes adults ages 18 to 64 who are able to work and who do not have a child in the household under the age of 14. So a significantly increased population. So those adults now have to report work or volunteer hours in order to maintain their SNAP benefits for longer than 3 months. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Amalia to really talk about what this looks like for those households, the reporting pieces, who may be exempt, and all of those different components.
So, as Becky said, that population there's always been work requirements. I always like to say that first. There's always been work requirements for the SNAP program, but because of the unemployment rate, the counties became exempt because folks receiving temporary assistance had to fill those other slots with their work, with potential work requirements. So here we are. So who is exempt? Pregnant individuals, people with disabilities, caregivers for children under 14, adults 65 and older. Where the exemptions are very tight, I would say. We're looking at if you have to bring in a medical notice to say that you are unable to work. There are temporary waivers for those that are receiving like a New York State disability, because that would be considered short term. Um, so gets a little bit complicated and a little bit in the weeds, but our goal is to let people know that the clock started March 1st. So they're looking at all new cases. They're starting from scratch. Those folks are starting from scratch. Those that are in receipt of SNAP now, they're looking at the time that they have to recertify. So then they'll be checking to see if they're working that 80 hours a month or volunteering that time. All the counties are doing something different. So gathering the paperwork is a little bit different in every county that we cover. There are volunteer forms that individuals have to complete and submit to the Department of Social Services to verify that they are meeting those requirements. In all actuality, this is going to be an administrative burden for the local districts. And they're worried too. There are going to have folks that fall through the cracks. So the more information we can get out there, the more light we can shine on this issue and let people know, hey, this is coming. It's best. We have information on our website. Thank you, Becky, for putting that in chat. For the exemptions, what's exempt, what is, even though we're not calling it ABODs, we're calling them time-limited SNAP recipients. So it's complicated, but an easy fix. As a community, people are going to be looking for volunteer opportunities, and this could be great for us. But we also need to be careful because we don't want this volunteer opportunity to be a condition for people to get food. So we need to be mindful of that as well. And the clock starts now. So the more if you need additional information, please don't hesitate to reach out. We have a lot of information again on our website as a resource. And if you have any individual questions, please don't hesitate to contact me.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Right. I've got a few more updates I want to share with everybody. As I think a lot of folks know, back in September at our partner agency conference, let me go back over the summer, we moved to last summer we moved to a new food finder that we knew was not effective and not doing what we needed it to do. So at our partner agency conference, we committed to looking for a resource that would work better for what we do at the food bank. And we rolled that out in December of this year. The folks here at the food bank worked very hard to get this, to expedite that process and get it up and running. So if you haven't had a chance to take a look at our new food finder, it is available on our website. It is a much more effective tool, and it really has worked well. The agencies that are using it are very, very happy with it. If you haven't had the opportunity to claim your listing, please let us know. The great thing about this food finder is you have the ability to go and update all of the information at your program. You can add additional programs, not only outside of food, additional services that your program is offering. So it could be things like clothing closets, caseworker services, those type of things. You can put really any type of information in there, but the really great benefits of it is it gives neighbors, when they look at your listing and they want to come to your site, it provides them with a lot more information. They know what they need to do. They know what area that you may serve, those type of things. So it really is much more effective. We've had about 52% of the agencies that we work with have claimed their listings. We're fully aware that the emails from Vivery, the organization nonprofit that we're working with for the map, we're fully aware a lot of those emails may have gone to spam and people may have not seen them. So my team over the next week is working on reaching out to any of those agencies that have not yet claimed their listing. We're sending you the link to set up your profile and get that process started. We are encouraging everybody to go in and at least update your current days and hours and things like that, so that, you know, when a neighbor finds your program on the map, you know, they're showing up when you're open, they're not showing up outside of hours and things like that. So it really is important that you go in and do that, so we have the most up-to-date and complete map that we've had in my time here. And like I said, it's not only great for the neighbors, it's great for, you know, other folks within the community that are trying to help, you know, trying to find help for neighbors. It's great for us at the food bank to have the most up-to-date information, so when we get a call, we know who we can refer those programs, those neighbors to. And it's got some really great features for you that I think are really important. You can set up location tags. One that I think is really important, you can set up if you know, if you're looking for volunteer opportunities are available at your program. So it's a really great resource. So folks may go, you know, maybe looking for you know, where they can volunteer. You can put that right on your profile. The other couple things is it does come with a free website. So if you ever wanted to have a website for your food program, that's included. And again, there's no cost to your agency or anything like that. The other thing that some programs are using and really like is there's a text message feature where, again, provided folks want to be on a text message list, we have programs that are using it for a couple of different purposes. One, you know, if they have additional fresh produce that they need to move and they know it's not going to last till their next distribution day, they can send out a text to neighbors and say, hey, we've got extra produce. Anybody that wants to come in and get it can get it, so nothing goes to waste. They're also using it for volunteer lists. So, you know, they can create a list of their volunteers. Maybe they have a volunteer opportunity available. They're sending out a message that says, hey, this Saturday we need additional volunteers. So there's a lot of great things that can be done with it. So if you haven't set it up yet, or if you have and you have questions, please reach out to the agency relations team. We're here to help you, you know, move through that process and get your profile set up. A couple other just updates. We are getting ready to release our partner agency survey. So we do a yearly survey to our partners to really get as much information as we can from you, and that we can help kind of guide the way that we move forward as an organization. So that will be coming out soon. I don't have a firm date on that yet, but please, when you do receive that, we encourage you to fill out that survey, give us your honest feedback, so that we can serve you and our neighbors better. The next just quick update is you should have received in the mail your 2025 impact statement. Those went out last week. So that's that one-page summary of, you know, the financial support from the food bank, the poundage, all of those things of product that has come through the food bank for your individual programs. If you didn't receive it, please let us know. We can get you out a copy. My team is also working on emailing those out over the next week or so. So you should, if you have not already, you should receive a copy of those via email as well. I know some organizations have used them to blow up for different presentations and things like that. So please be on the lookout for those. If you didn't receive them, let us know. I know sometimes mail goes to the church office and things like that, so please check with those folks as well. The last thing I just want to provide a reminder for is for Food Pantry specifically is our Service Insights program. I know we have over 100 agencies currently on Service Insights. The feedback from the agencies has been fantastic for that program. But if you are not on Service Insights, we can get you on the list. Our team is working with agencies every day to implement that program. And as a reminder, in your partner agency agreement, you've signed off on agreeing to try to be on that program by the end of by June of 2027. So keep in mind that date is coming up. There's about 15 months. So if you haven't been on it but you want to be on it, please let us know. We can get you on the list and get you started in that process. And if you're interested in talking to other agencies that are on it, like I said, the feedback has been fantastic. You have access to so much more data than what you previously had, and it's been and it's very easy. Once you have neighbors in the system, It's very easy for them very easy for you when they come in to receive food. Just a couple of clicks, and you're good to go. And again, all of your data is sent to the food bank. You don't have to report your service numbers anymore or anything like that. So again, if you have questions, we can get you in touch with our Service Insights team. So yep. So there was a question about the name of the program for the map, and that's Vivery. And again, if you haven't received any information on that, you can also reach out to our team or put your information in the chat. My team is monitoring the chat, so we can get that information out to you. So that's all we have in the way of topics and updates. If there's any questions, we've got a bunch of time for questions, so please type in those into the chat or the Q&A. Again, you also can raise your hand and we can unmute you, and you can ask it on video if you prefer. So please ask away. Oh,
Brian,
Becky,
yep, sorry. While you're looking through the questions, I'm going to give a quick overview of the state budget and just let folks know where that all stands, since there have been some developments over the last couple of days. So first, I want to start off by thanking everybody who has participated in the advocacy work around the New York State budget. You've heard quite a bit of items that are supported by state dollars that Brian was talking about, whether it's Nourish New York or HIPNAP, and we all know how important these programs are to making sure that we all have the resources that we need to get food out into the community. So we started off in a fairly good position with the governor's executive budget, which was released earlier this calendar year. She did include significantly increased investment in HIPNAP. However, Nourish New York was maintained at the same level of funding as last state's fiscal year. So we knew that going into this budget process, it was going to be a little bit more of an uphill climb to hopefully secure additional funding for Nourish New York. So the way the process works is the executive budget comes out, and then the legislature both work on their one House bills. So the New York State Assembly works on their budget bill, and then the New York State Senate works on their budget bill. And then eventually all three have to be reconciled into a final budget package. So those one House bills were released earlier this week. So now there's additional advocacy work for us to continue doing to get this across the finish line. So both one House bills have HIPNAP and Nourish New York funded at our asks. So that's $75 million each for HIPNAP and for Nourish. So very good news. I don't want to rain on this excitement by reminding everybody that we were in the same position last year, and then the final budget did not fund these programs at that level. I'm bringing that up to say that we are not done yet. So there is still important advocacy work to take place. I was just on a call prior to this, the town hall starting. There will be revised language to the click to action that we had shared out previously, with the focus being on the governor's office. So please expect an advocacy alert. We're going to be doing an action activation the week of March 23rd. So just to flag that for you, but I will get a communication out to everybody with that information. We'll have a sample script for you to make phone calls, but the language in that click to action, the link will still be the same as what we have shared out before, but we're going to be updating that to recognize the progress that we've made. So just wanted to provide that update. We're in a pretty good position, but we can't sit back and assume that this is what's going to make it into the final bill. So there will be additional activations. So please keep an eye out for those advocacy alerts coming your way.
Great. Thank you, Becky. All right. Any questions? So far, we haven't had anybody submit any questions, which is rare for this group. So please let us know what questions you have for our leadership team. They're here and available to you to answer, again, whatever questions you may have. So again, if you are interested in asking them audibly, you can do that. So we have, let's see. So there's a question from Donna. If you are listed as an emergency pantry, do you have those listed with their open hours? Also, if listed, should they be more available? So are you talking, Don, are you asking about emergency, like emergency hours or anything like that? If you're asking about that as far as Vivery goes, you can at the map. You can also put a note in there, with a number that says, for emergencies, please call this number, or you can also put a note that says, we're open outside our public hours by appointment or something like that. So. Again, you don't have to. It's great to list a number on the Food Finder. We recommend it so that, again, there is always folks that may not be able to access your program during your open hours. And I know most agencies will work with folks outside of their open hours. So it's great to be able to have that information available. I certainly don't necessarily recommend putting a cell phone in that information so that you're not, somebody's not calling you in the middle of the night, but, a number where folks can access the program is great. So there was a question about changing back to 10 days for the ordering window. I don't know if Brian wants to address that, but I don't believe, go ahead.
Yeah, I can address that. So the reason for shortening the inventory window is actually to improve the food access to you, the agencies. So what happens when you have an ordering window too long is that people are claiming food well in advance of when it will be delivered to them. And without getting into too much detail, it slows the influx of food and it results in food sitting around that is, while physically here, no one that's looking at it can order it. And so in the macro view, it creates a lot of inefficiencies. And what it means is when you sign on to place your order, not just the produce, but other items, they're not available because the length of that window creates enough disruptions when you apply it to the 300 agencies that are doing it. And so we had actually a consultant come through and look at some of our business processes, and that was at the top of the recommended list. I hope it's not too much of an inconvenience. I mean, it's still a good time advance, but the end result to you as the entity that's ordering food is you are actually seeing a much more live inventory by that. So it wouldn't be in the best interest of the network as a whole for us to go back to that, unfortunately, unless things were to change. I don't see that in the near future.
Thank you. Looks like Pat Stasny has her hand up. Let me see if I can. All right, Pat, you should be able to unmute and ask your question now. Give it a second. Let's see. Pat, are you able to unmute? I allowed your microphone on our end, but it's possible your computer doesn't have a microphone. So if you can't, you can always type the question in the chat. But all right, we'll give it a minute. There was a question about Jefferson and Lewis County used to have 3 different delivery days available a month. Now it's down to 2 delivery days. Is there a reasoning, or is that it?
Yep, I could speak to that. And that is not a decrease in delivery days to Jefferson and Lewis. It's a decrease in the amount of Fridays in the month. So we're in a stretch where there are only 4 Fridays in February and March. I'm not certain about April, but the next time that we go back to more Fridays, or the way that the calendar lines up, it will be back to that. It's not a conscious decision to limit our availability there, not at all.
Yeah, I just looked at the calendar. It looks like there's goes back to three Fridays in May. So
Okay.
April and March and April have 2. So, yep. So thank you. Let's see. Question, you stated that a site should alert you if delivered items are different than what is on the paperwork. If a location gets items that are unusable, how would you like the location to respond? Example, last summer our location received cases of bagged sliced apples that arrived bloated and fermented. Would you like us to notify you if something like that happens again?
Oh, yes, absolutely, yes. Please, right away. Yeah, anything, any kind of issue or discrepancy, problem, please let us know immediately, and we will remedy that. There's a possibility that that shouldn't, in a case like that, that should never have slipped by. It shouldn't have gotten out. But if it did, we want to know right away so we can put a stop to that. And I see I'm going to stay right on here because the next one is, when will venison be available? So venison is, as you know, donated, and it's donated mostly by hunter choice. And so that's going to primarily be during hunting season, which we're out of, but we do receive a supply of venison anytime there is a DEC arranged cull. And as long as those are ongoing, there's a lag where there'll be a cull. The deer that are taken get processed, and then when they're ready, we pick them up. So it's a little bit unpredictable. That's just the process by which venison enters the inventory. And it's not something that we have a ton of predictability or control over. However, I believe I've seen communication come across that we have a venison pickup coming shortly. So the best thing I can tell you is please just keep checking.
Yeah, and as a reminder, we do have venison tip sheets from the Department of Health. There is always the potential that there are trace amounts of lead in any of the ground venison that you receive. So the Department of Health has requested that if you do distribute venison, that you hand out these tip sheets. So if you don't have them and you're planning on bringing venison in, please reach out to my team and we will get you out those tip sheets. You also potentially would have received an email, I think back over the summer, from the Department of Health with that information, but they have provided us with printed tip sheets to hand out with that product. So we had a couple hands up. I know Michael has his hand up, and as well as Dr. Dan. So we'll go to Michael and then we'll go to Dan.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. I just wanted to go back to Melissa's question about letting us know. On the website, on the very front page of our food bank website, foodbankcny.org, at the very bottom on the left-hand side, there's a partner experience form, and that's where you can tell us about anything that has come up or gone wrong as far as your delivery, food product, anything like that. If you let us know there, it does alert all of us as to what's going on, and then you don't have to worry about calling somebody. If you're more comfortable calling somebody, please do reach out to the agency relations team to get us that information.
Yeah, we put the link to that partner experience and connection form in the chat, so it's something you can bookmark. Again, in the event that you get something like that or you have a question, please reach out to us through that. All right, Dan, you should be able to Dr. Dan, you should be able to unmute and ask your question. He may have. I don't see him in here anymore, so he may have logged out or logged out in error at some point. So we'll come back to him if he pops back in. Any other questions? Looks like we don't have anything else in the chat currently. Let's go to Barb. Hold on one second, Barb. All right, you should be able to unmute. Potentially. You should be able to hit the top right. The top right is the microphone. You should be able to click on that and unmute. While we wait for that, there's a question about they're a drive-through pantry, so when weather is bad, they use paper intake forms for new clients. What intake forms should be using? We have two different forms for intake sent to us. I think if they're not in your Service Insights program, you should use that Service Insights intake form that they have provided for you, so you gather the necessary information to enter them into Service Insights. As a backup, I would combine that with that TFAP intake form, because that form just requires a name and zip code pretty much. So just to make sure that you have your bases covered, I would use both in that case. But our Service Insights team certainly can follow up and provide some guidance on how to handle, inclement weather situations and that kind of stuff. Because I know we are moving to a lot of our mobile food pantries, as well as some of our fresh foods that operate outdoors onto Service Insights. So they may have some guidance on how to handle those inclement weather situations. So, Barb, were you able to unmute? So your mic is enabled, but again, you may not have it on your computer. Again, you can type the question into the chat. So, any other questions? And again, if you can't get your question in, please send us an email, and we will make sure that we get it to the correct folks to get an answer for you. If you're unable to unmute or unable to, I know some folks are watching from their phones, and it may be hard to type a question into the chat as well. All right. Oh, maybe we have a couple in the Q&A. I apologize. Let's see. With the change to a 5-day order window, does the deadline for ordering change? No, it's still for delivery. It's still 3 business days by noon, and then for pickup, it's 1 business day by 7 a.m. for pickup. But again, your delivery window opens 5 calendar days before that. So if your cutoff is normally like a Wednesday at noon, your window to order will open 5 calendar days before that. So just keep that in mind. So it's really not cutting it. It's not cutting it as much as it seems like. It's not 10 days before your delivery date like it was previously, but it really amounts to about 8 days. So it's not a significant reduction. What does the UTH and the SOE stand for when ordering?
So SOE is just an abbreviation for state of emergency, and that refers to just the funding source that that particular item is going to be charged to. UHT is different. UHT stands for ultra high temp, and that's associated with milk. So UHT milk is going to be it's going to be refrigerated milk, which has been processed in a way that extends the storage life of it. So you'll see this in grocery stores or really anywhere where normally the milk, the refrigerated fluid milk that we're all used to, if we were shopping today, we might see used by March 19th, and now you might be seeing May 4th or May 3rd. That's a process called UHT, which is becoming more common.
Thank you. All right. Any other questions? We've got a few more minutes if there is anything. Don't see anything else, but we'll give it another minute or two. Does anybody... oh, sorry. Barb just wanted to say thank you. Oops, did I just get kicked out?
No, you're still here.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
My join button came up. Sorry. Barb, just want to say I want to thank you so much for all you do. I love the hands-on help, and your team is top-notch. So thank you from the folks in Canastota. That's great news, and I know we certainly appreciate it. So is there another hand up potentially? Let's see. Pat, I'm going to try to. You should be able to unmute, Pat. Your microphone still looks open on our end, and I apologize. Yes, there you go.
Oh, good. I was. Thank you very much for everything today. I apologize. I did send you just an email, but with being a small agency here in Morrisville, when we try to order bulk, like you have the produce and vegetables, we have no place to store a lot of it. So is there any way there could be smaller bulk quantities? We've tried it before and we stored stuff, but it's rotted before we could use it.
When you say bulk, Pat, you mean, for us, everything that we have on there is kind of by the case. So if we're talking potatoes, it's probably a 5-pound bag of potatoes. Is that what you mean by bulk? Or do you
Well, we
mean
got,
like 50 pounds loose?
yeah, well, there was bags of potatoes we got that were 10-pound bags, but there was 50, it came like 5 pound, five of
Yeah.
those bags. And by the time we used them, they had molded or started growing.
Okay,
Like lettuce when it comes, I mean, I just piggybacked with Hamilton today and they got onions, but it's a big, big, huge bag
yeah.
and we can't use that. Is there any way to get smaller quantities of?
So right now, the common practice is to, order by the full case, whatever it is. That seems to work by and large for most people, but it's not off the table. It's not a bad concept for us to explore. My expectation is we're going to be doing a lot of work around determining what type of produce ordering an item looks best for everyone. So I'll take that today as information under consideration.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
There was a question about will notes be available for from today. What we will do is we are recording this, so we will send out the recording for anybody that came in late or anybody that wasn't able to get in. I know that there's been, again, some limitations due to some of the emails going to spam and things like that. So we'll look at that for future meetings, the way we best can support everybody, but we will make the recording available to everyone. So if there is, again, if you missed anything or there's questions, you'll have that available as a resource. So any other questions? We got a minute or two. If anything, anybody from the leadership team wants to share before we close out? All right, I will take that as a no. So with that, I just want to remind everyone, please, if you have questions, reach out to our team. We are here to support you. We will get you in touch with the coordinator that covers your area in the agency relations team. Even if it's a question for our procurement folks, please come to us and we will go get you the answer. We are the connection between the food bank and your programs. So again, please reach out to us. I want to thank everybody for coming. Thank everybody for everything that you all do every day. It's not easy to serve the neighbors in need, and we know that the need is only growing in your community, and the potential with the SNAP changes may continue to see some of that growth. So if you are seeing an influx of folks that maybe you haven't seen before and they're saying, we're coming because we don't have access to our SNAP benefits or whatever it may be, please do let us know that information, because it is important information for us to know. So again, continue to connect with us and reach out if you have questions, and we look forward to seeing everybody soon, and hopefully we're out of all, we're moving towards nicer weather and a little bit more predictable weather for the next few months anyway. So thank you all, and I hope everybody has a great weekend and a great rest of your day. So thank you.